here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
SEOMike there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
SEOMike there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
NCC Sim Racing is live tonight. Hockenheimring, race number 7. 20 minutes, 20 laps as per usual. Qualifying, inverting the top 12 after heat number 1. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, live on V-Speed 2. And here tonight, the BMW Car Club of America is going to go 16 turns for 2.5 miles per lap. We'll find out who's the best as we go racing in Germany here tonight. Down here, track side already. Carlos Bonds going to start on the front row with Scott Kim next to him. Darren Treacle. Yet again, my timing and scoring not showing the correct grid. So Darren Treacle, David Curtis, Colin Cortana got him pole in the next row. Aaron Dietrich, Mike Kennedy, Dean Tulien, Clint Fletcher, Peter Lannick, and Perry Duncan. rounding out the field here tonight. So here we go, pace car pulling off. And let's get set, ready to go green. Green flag is out and we're underway here in Germany. And a car off the racetrack, that's Scott Kim making a mistake, I believe. Going all the way back to 11th position. It's loose into turn 2. Coming by to lead lap number 1, it's going to be David Curtis and the number 43. He's able to put down a good enough lap time. This very narrow and tight grooved racetrack here. Not a lot of room for error. If you overshoot the corners, lock up the brakes, you can end up on the outside of the racetrack as we have contact for the lead. Treacle takes it away. And side by side here with Curtis and Kortanik, now 3 wide down the front stretch. These guys driving like crazy here tonight. Any opportunity they can find, they're going to try to take it because there's so few places to pass on this racetrack. On the outside now for second position. Going to be on the inside here on the left. Treacle not able to complete that pass, now opening up the door for Fletcher to get by for third. Fletcher takes away the position. Adam Pohl on the right side of Kortanik now for fourth. Fletcher passing for second. In the hairpin, Pohl almost loses the position. On board here with the number 11 of Adam Pohl, and he overshoots that corner just a little bit there. And gets a little contact in the back end from Lanning. So Pohl losing a spot from a mistake, then getting mowed over almost as he exits the final corner. Curtis has stretched the lead out now to about a second. Trying to find the locations of our drone cameras here tonight. Not having good luck with it. Side by side again, another pass. It looked like Treacle was trying to take away the second position, but Fletcher holds on to it. Still all over the back bumper here as they go into turn 7. Side by side down the long back straightaway. And wow, Fletcher just trying to make a move. He had the run, but wasn't able to do anything with it. Adam Pohl and Lanning back together again. There's several opportunities here for Lanning to get by, and just not able to set up the pass in time. maybe a little bit of rear end damage on Adam Pohl's machine. You can see that spoiler, the lower half, just a little messed up. Might hurt his straightaway speed, but overall the car looks like it's still handling pretty good. So coming by to lead for another lap, David Curtis started back and forth. If that's correct, he's led 2 laps here tonight. So that is not the drone cameras that I thought they were. Trying to get used to this. Eventually we're going to figure them out where they're located. So try to work on that. Darren Treacle and Clint Fletcher go at it for the second position, side by side now into the second to last turn. Car off the racetrack back there. That was Peter Lanik. The battle between Fletcher subsides, but Adam Pohl now on the outside trying to take away fourth. And he will. All right, so let's go through Nord Curve. I assume that's this camera. What do you know? So we have that down. Turn 2 looks pretty normal. And a little side by side there with Lanik. You can see on our static cameras. Let's try this. Into the hairpin now. And a little contact there between, I believe that was Duncan and Dietrich. Into the Mercedes corner. A lot of corners here at this racetrack, and they get tighter and tighter as you get closer to completing a lap. Hey, there we figured out a drone. Figured out our other drone. So there we go. They're right towards the end of the racetrack. And this is down what they call Sud. It's the final corner on this track. Now that we have that figured out, let's go back here and check in with some contact between Adam Pohl and Colin Kortanek. Putting a block, throwing it back and forth. Pohl is trying to hang on to the top 5. He gets to the inside of Kortanek for just a moment there. Really stacked up here into the hairpin. And I want to make sure that my audio is working. Really stacked up here. And it is. All right, good. Remember, guys, I went about changing my hard drive, so things got a little bit broken. I Changed processors, motherboard, and hard drive. Everything got a little bit out of whack, out of sync, but we're ironing out the wrinkles this week. The battle for the lead heating up here. Curtis under fire from Fletcher as we just go past the halfway point. Treacle also sneaking his way up here to the leaders. Audio's good. Okay, good. Excellent. We watch this battle heat up. And Treacle's starting to push his nose in there to the inside. And a car sideways. That's Adam Pohl going around into the hairpin. He's going to lose about 4 positions here. Going from 5th all the way back to 9th. And now 10th. So 5 spots lost. Let's go back on the instant replay and take a look at what happened to him. Look like maybe Thulin, or I think Thulin gets into him here. Let's go back a little bit further. Thulin just sends it into the corner here and just touches him. And unfortunately, that cost Adam Pohl 5 positions, falls back to 10th. Battle for the lead still going on, though. Less than a 10th separating Clint Fletcher and Darren Treacle. Looking like maybe Curtis might have used up his stuff, but now pulling back out to 0.3 of a second down this back straightaway. And that's just maybe a product of these guys using the slipstream here to set up a pass. Here they go diving into the hairpin. This is where Adam Pohl got shoved out of the way. Some guys overshoot it a little bit back there, 4th and 5th. Battle raging on as Curtis tries to break up the draft and set up his apex. Getting through the S's pretty clean, but a little bit of a run here for Fletcher. Into the short chute. And 2 or 3 more corners, we could see a change for the lead. Here they go side by side for first position. A little contact. Fletcher not able to complete the pass. Backs out of it here through the S's. And now down to the front straightaway. Can Fletcher get around him? Curtis leading every single lap so far. Now side by side again. Peek to the inside, down into turn 4. Change for the lead here on lap number 9. And it's going to be the 69 of Fletcher, but a fight back here from Curtis. As they approach the hairpin, that is not where Curtis would probably want to be. But he does take it back, starts to stretch it back out. And some contact behind him. That's Lanik and Dietrich. Opportunity there for those guys to take each other out, but they're able to hold it together. And Treacle knocking on the door, letting Fletcher know, I'm here. And I'm waiting on you to get around the 43 so I can get around you. Drives off a little bit into the sand trap there on the exit. So that is going to hurt his overall down these next couple chutes. And into the S's. falling off about 5/10 here for the number 70. So another lap led. And a car off track here, I believe. Cortana goes way off into the first set of S's. But I could have swore I heard a car getting shoved out of the way. Couldn't locate it in time. Side by side behind the 32. Thulin and Dietrich almost 3 wide as they go into the hairpin. And off track here for Korchanik. He's going to lose the spot. That's the 96 of Dietrich finally getting clear of him. Clint Fletcher does make a pass for the lead, though, in the midst of all of that. Let's go back and take an instant replay and find out when this happened exactly. Looks like it's going to happen after the hairpin. He gets alongside of him here for a brief second. They go side by side into the next set of corners. Curtis was able to hold on to it there. But it's this next move, I believe. Allows Fletcher to get to the outside and get a good exit. Curtis almost gets passed by Treacle as well. Now Treacle fighting, trying to get up there into the top 2. They're going to go 3 wide here off the exit of the hairpin. Closing the door several times. Open, close from David Curtis. And I think Treacle just cut him some slack there. And contact, and it sends the 70 around. Was not expecting that to be enough to send him around, but it is. Maybe on throttle time, I don't know. Just an ever so slight touch there. So these guys battling, Treacle falling out here all the way back to 9th position. Adam Pohl back up to 8th. He's now finding a battle with Treacle, who was only fast enough to be up front. But Clint Fletcher takes over past the halfway point, and we're probably going to get the white flag this time by. Heat number 1 about to be white flag. As we hit the 20-minute mark. White flag going to go up in the air for Clint Fletcher, who has a 1.4 second lead over David Curtis, who led the vast majority of laps, but unfortunately it doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch back up and lead the last one. Peter Lanik works his way into the top 3. Kudos to that driver, starting way back in the field. Good work by the 294. Aaron Dietrich in 4th. 5th spot, Colin Kortanik. Dean Thulin is going to be in 6th. Perry Duncan 7th. Adam Pohl 8th. Brian Kennedy in 9th. And Scott Kim will round out your top 10. So there it is. White flag out in the air. Fletcher pulls the lead out a little bit more, about a 10th from the last time we mentioned his name. Curtis on his own little island back there, not really able to catch, but not really losing. Just unfortunate those tires got used up pretty quickly. It looked like he might have overdrove the stuff a little bit. Coming out of the hairpin, he does shave down a little bit of time here. .1, 1.2 seconds. But it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Clint Fletcher only has a handful of corners to go. And there it is, your winner, Clint Fletcher, off the final turn for the final time here in heat number 1. Checkered flag up in the air, and your winner is going to be Clint Fletcher. And he timed that perfectly. In fact, he goes out of the sim, outside the boundaries. But it's good enough for a win. Clint Fletcher gets another one this season. And heat number 1. So here at Hockenheimring, we're going to bring up Clint Fletcher, who's down there celebrating in the pits with a great finish. Let's see if we can get a hold of the number 97 driver. Clint Fletcher, it's Bradley Cooper. Sorry about interrupting you there. I apologize.
Oh, all good.
So you seal another deal here at what looks like a very narrow and technical circuit. You're able to outpace the 43 and get around Curtis. You never looked back after halfway.
Yeah, that was a tough race for sure. I know you wanted a nice show of this race from last interview, so I tried to pull through for you. But Dave, he's a beast. He defends really well. That Ferrari has great straight line speed, and then of course, the Darren was behind us, hunting us down for a little bit. So that was a great battle, one of the better ones this season.
Yeah, it looked like Trico ended up making a mistake there, got into the side of Curtis, and it I don't know if it was Netco, but it just kind of sent the 70 around. A little weird, but nonetheless, Clint, you came out here and did what you needed to do. Are you excited here? You think you're going to be able to race back through the field?
I hope so. I know a couple of those fast guys got taken out. Adam got a drive-through, so he's going to be starting at the front, I believe, and he's pretty quick. So hopefully can capitalize and make my way up as far as I can.
Well, barring that these guys don't make any mistakes, I think you're going to be fine, though. That's just, I think lap 1, turn 1, just look out for it, because it happened last time. I think it's going to happen again.
Yeah, for sure. Lap 1 chaos for sure.
Well, Clint, congratulations. We'll send you back down. While we got you, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out real quick?
Of course, the same old as always. The guys at the BMW League for hosting, you for the broadcast. Can't wait to watch that one back. And then Perry for the liveries, of course.
We appreciate your time, man, and good luck in the next heat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Clint Fletcher, winner of heat number 1 here at Hockenheimring. We're going to take a quick commercial break and re-rack them here with the invert on the top 12. You're watching the BMW Car Club of America live on V-Speed 2.
From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live, BMW Car Club of America, NCC Sim Racing getting ready to go green. Peter Lanik, Carlos Bonds taking the green flag here down the front straightaway, and we're back underway for heat number 2. And Darren Treacle falls out there for just a moment. He pulled a David Blaine there and passed for the lead. He's blinking pretty bad, but he's on point here. Big run here with 3 wide into the hairpin. That's Scott Kim that got shuffled out pretty quickly in the last heat. Excuse me. And they're going 3 wide behind him. There's Fletcher, who apparently had some problems here on the start of this race. Let's go back and take a look. Yeah, he just got on the throttle a little early on cold tires, I think. Threw it around, and unfortunately, that's going to probably seal it for him going back-to-back here tonight. He just gets the car a little upset, hits the inside wall. Just got into a rhythm, probably based off of what those tires were doing the last time. And there they go. They're a little bit cold. On board here with Treacle. And what a move there at the start of this race where he just kind of blinked and passed everyone. You can see Lanik all over the back bumper. I think we're going to have a little bit more of a battle for the lead with Adam Pohl going to be back in 3rd. He'll save his stuff. I think at probably the 10-minute mark, you're going to start to see that number 11 creep his way closer and closer. Darren Treacle. Maybe a move here by Lanik as he gets the slipstream down the backstretch, but the outside, not where you want to be. He might end up losing a position to Adam Pohl. Pohl does get to his door, but not able to get the run off. And Lanik going to hold on to 2nd for another lap. But he has to be careful where he sets these passes up. Just because he gets that run doesn't always mean that it's going to work out for him. You have to plan and strategize. I know these guys are well aware of that. But for the viewers out there, on these technical circuits, you really have to pick and choose. You have to be careful where you decide to pass, because if it backfires and doesn't work out, you could lose 2 or 3 spots just by apexing the wrong way. A little bit high there on the outside is Lanik. And that's what I'm talking about right there. He's getting the runs, now has to battle with Adam Pohl to try to maintain second in contact here between Pohl and Duncan. Adam Pohl in the final two corners gets into contact with Perry Duncan, and they somehow sort it back out where Pohl doesn't lose a spot. I think Duncan may have cut him a break there since he made a mistake getting into him. I'm not exactly sure if it was his fault or if it was Adam's fault. But nonetheless, back to single file. And Darren Treacle pulls out an amazing 1 second lead. Battling going on back here between Thulin and Kortanik. Dietrich also in this mix. There's David Curtis in ninth back there behind this battle. On the outside now, Dietrich does get around the number 32. And makes quick work of that as he sets his sights on Brian Kennedy. So closest battle on the racetrack right now. It's a toss-up between Perry Duncan, Brian Kennedy. They're trading a couple tenths here or there. Here's a pass now for the inside as they go into one. Quick work there for Kennedy. Gets to the right side, and now a crossover by Duncan. They're going to go into the first set of S's, maybe side by side. Duncan's going to think better of it and back up. Running on board with the 32, currently in the 7th position. And he had a decent run there in the last one. Just wasn't quite able to seal the deal and keep it up in the top 5. The Kortanik trying to look and revitalize this race. He goes by in 7th position. Perry Duncan under fire from quite a few cars as they come through the S's. 3 wide now down the straightaway. Shooting that middle gap and a dive to the inside. That was Kortanik that drove across the nose of both of these cars. And he'll maintain the 6th spot. But who's going to decide for 7th? Still a lot of time left to be raced. 13 minutes to be exact. Darren Treacle has led 4 laps since this race began. And trying to look to lead the last one. Peter Atlantic falls back about 1.7 seconds, and then another big gap back to Adam Pohl and the number 11, who made a little bit of a mistake there, cost him some time trying to get it all back. But again, don't count this 11 out. I've seen him do it time and time again. Let those guys go up there and outdrive their stuff, then end up on point right towards the end. And that Porsche highly capable of taking these corners. It looks like it probably corners better than any other car on the racetrack right now. The manufacturers do make a difference in these cars. You can see the Ferraris getting big straight line speed. Seems like the Porsches do really well in the corners with the balance. The BMW as well, really good in the corners, not so much at the straight line. But it should be enough here Adam Pole's got plenty of time. 2.3 seconds, 1.8 back to Lanik. Unfortunately, Clint Fletcher's hopes of going back-to-back are completely dashed after that spin. He has since caught back up to some drivers, though, and he's looking just outside the top 10. He can mitigate some of this damage and bring home a good, solid points battle if he can get back around Scott Kim and David Curtis. So trying to sort it out, we've got sounded like we had some slowdown there for a second. I was trying to sort that out. These guys are back in their braking zones up quite a bit compared to what it was earlier. Aaron Treacle gonna lead another lap, put him up to 5 now on the day. And hopefully no mistakes here for the 70. We saw a few there in the last heat. It looks like he's in a pretty good rhythm as he stretches the lead out over 2 seconds as they go through the S's. Off the exit now to lead another one. 6 laps led now. And Lanik not catching up to him for the most part. It stayed pretty stagnant at around 2 seconds. Dietrich also not really catching, maybe a 10th or 2 a lap, but giving it all back in the next one. And it's unfortunate because it's hard to judge where a guy's going to be driving, what his line is, how you pace yourself to not overdrive your stuff. You don't have that right in front of you. It makes your input, I guess, a little bit delayed. Changes your mentality of playing catch up the entirety of the race instead of driving the racetrack. So some of these guys are going to have to be careful that they don't put themselves in a situation. Ryan Kennedy to the inside, right hand of Adam Pole. Doesn't get it done. So trying to sort this out, we have pretty good spread all the way through this field. Aaron Treacle 1.6, and then it's 2.7 back to Dietrich. I thought this lead was going to shape up, but with Adam Pole getting kind of shuffled out or making whatever happened to Adam there, I think that pretty much negated the fact that we were halfway, and I would like to see the 11 get back up there, work his way back into the top 3. I know he's capable of it, but that is unfortunate. Ryan Kennedy right behind him there, another driver that's very capable of working his way into the top 3. So these guys are probably going to be fighting for it with about 2 minutes to go. They're still kind of in save mode, I would say. We know how that can be. These guys do a really good job at keeping their stuff cold and fresh until the very end and making a hard charge. Here comes to the right there for a second. 3 wide just behind him as they go into the hairpin. That's Duncan. Kortanik. Duncan gets a little loose. He's going to lose 2 spots. So it's Treacle, Lanik, Dietrich, Kennedy, Pole, the top 5. Kortanik, Thulin, Duncan, Fletcher, and Kim. The top 10, David Curtis and Carlos Bonds will be 11th and 12th. Curtis looking like he's struggling a little more than he was in the first heat. He is well outside the top 10 by about 7.5 seconds to the 7-11. And Thulin trying to get up. Looks like he's getting close to Kortanik here. Let's watch this battle. And a low run there for Perry Duncan. Thought he might have something for the 84. But they're side by side down the long straightaway. Two BMWs going to go into the hairpin turn side by side. Kortanik having the preferred line here as they enter. Could get a good exit run here for Thulin, though. He doesn't, and there it is side by side now with Duncan. We just saw this a moment ago, and the 8 made a mistake. Luckily, doesn't collect anyone else, and man, he is getting the runs. Just not able to do anything with it. So no hard charges just yet. 2.1 seconds. You're watching Lanik try to chase down Treacle. Adam Pohl must have made another mistake. I don't think he made a huge one like he did before, but Brian Kennedy gets around him, shuffles him back to 5th. And unfortunately, that's more of a telltale sign that Adam Pohl might not be able to drive up there to the top 3 tonight. He's got a lot of ground to make up. We're talking about well over 4 seconds here. Is on board with the number 11 of Adam Pohl. You can see Brian Kennedy right in front of him. Kennedy been pretty good at every track we've went to, just certain victim of circumstance for the most part at every place, and it's good to see him up here in the top 5. Has an opportunity to maybe get a podium if these guys start to fall off in front of him. There's Dietrich, Lanik. But Treacle, man, he's just, I don't know. Lead has shaved down 1.8 seconds, but it's not so much that Treacle might be saving tires. He could be working the strategy on fuel. I'd like to think we don't have to pit for any of those things. But saving your stuff, very important, especially when you have no pit crew to make adjustments. So my brain's glitching a little bit here tonight. I'm trying to keep up with the battles on the racetrack. Adam Pohl trying to fight back to Brian Kennedy. Not able to do so. Thulin and Fletcher. Kortanik, this is 6th through 8th position. The battle heating up a little bit more. Thulin's going to look to the outside. We've seen this before. It's just not working out. Thulin gets sideways, and now Fletcher to the outside. Good recovery here for the 7. Going to work his way back up into the 7th position. That's 69 cars doing great. A deep dive in there to the hairpin. He's all over the back bumper of Kortanik now. Trying to size up and find another car somewhere. This guy, Perry Duncan, looks like he's struggling now in the second half of this race. About 2 minutes to go for heat number 2. And the number 8 of Duncan finds himself hanging at the edge of the top 10 and 9th. And off the track there. Duncan way off the racetrack. Onto the instant replay. We had the camera there, but we're going to go back and watch it. Just overshoots the runway here. Ends up into the sand trap. Slows him down a little bit. hitting that gravel, and that allowed Scott Kim to get up to the bumper for a moment. Minute 49 left to go. Probably white flag this time by. He's led every single lap that we've put down here with his David Blaine move on the outside to sneak past the entire field. And I say that respectfully because it is so difficult on this sim to not know where anyone is and still go out there and run on the outside. He almost drove off the racetrack trying to do so, just in case anyone did pop back up and his connection was fixed, because that spells trouble when you're inside of another car. When you come back in, there's always a good chance that you can end up getting spun around just based off telemetry and the service not being able to sort out ghosting a car, and that does happen. The bubble here tonight has been pretty minor. It looks like we've had a couple netcode incidents, but nothing major. Treacle is going to come off and take the white flag this time by. Final lap now for the number 70, and Lanik has shaved the lead down to 1.5 seconds. This could be the lap here for the 294. .5 as they go down the long straightaway into the hairpin. He's going to need a lot of time made up right here. If he wants any shot, I don't think that he's going to have the opportunity. This battle back here between Fletcher and Thulin, it's heating up a little bit. But Darren Treacle into the last set of S's, just has a handful of corners left to go. Keep checking back in on that battle from 7th and 8th position. Doesn't look like it's worked out quite yet for Thulin, but it has worked out quite well for the number 70. Darren Treacle coming off the final corner for the final time. And your winner here tonight, it's Darren Treacle in the number 70, sealing the deal in Germany. Fletcher and Thulin, they sort themselves out, 6th and 7th position. Ortanik not happy with his result. These guys gonna crash him and make sure that there's nothing left to drive. Look at Curtis back there. Not quite how he planned it, but nonetheless, that'll conclude tonight's second heat in Hockenheimring. Let's say race interviews with your top 3. We're going to take a quick commercial break and bring you those 3 drivers. We've got Darren Treacle, Peter Lanik, and Aaron Dietrich right after this. Back here live on V Speed 2. They've concluded what was a pretty fine race, in my opinion. These guys did a phenomenal job. I know that some guys made mistakes, got caught up in other things, but overall, great battles, great racing all the way through. Very tight, very technical. And it was this guy right here in the number 70 as we go back on our replay. Let's back it up just a little bit here. There it is. That's the driver we're looking for. He's able to get it done and put it up on top in the second heat. Let's catch up down in the pits. We have your top three patiently waiting for me to pull them down. Let's talk to the number 96 of Aaron Dietrich. And Aaron, it looked like tires maybe fell off a little faster than everybody predicted. You guys were hanging pretty well there with Lanik, but Treacle just kind of pulled a David Blaine move on the outside, and he kind of disappeared after that.
Well, that's just Aaron. I don't think he practiced much. He was relearning the track throughout the race, and then by the end of it, he's always the fastest guy. That's just how good he is. But yeah, I was kind of chipping away, trying to catch Pete. And I think I was chipping away maybe a tenth or two, and then had a couple brake lockups and slides that scared me, and realized the last lap or two it wasn't worth giving up the podium. So kind of dialed it back a little bit, and I think Pete was speeding up a little bit too, trying to chase down Darren. So, credit to him for pulling together a few good laps towards the end of the race.
Yeah, you guys have really mastered the art. It seems like anybody that's in the second or third position have, at least in the past few weeks, been able to run the leader down, especially in the first heat where everybody's still kind of getting used to the track. But here tonight, you kind of took that risk reward move. In your mind, do you think that anything could have changed the outcome of this race for you?
Well, the first race I screwed up and spun on like the first or second turn, and it kind of put myself back. So it's kind of always nice to get a little bit of a bump up in the positions when it's inverted. And then I was fortunate to have some people around me have an incident, collect others, and that kind of freed up third place for me, to be honest. Didn't really have to race too hard for it. So no, I'm had a good pulled together some good laps with the tires falling off, and enjoyed that last race there.
Aaron Dietrich, third place finisher here tonight. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for tonight's finish?
Yeah, of course, DRD for sponsoring us, as well as SEOMike, and Scott, all the admins keeping this thing going, and you for doing the broadcast, keeping it interesting for us. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, Aaron, and we will see you next week.
Yep, see you there.
Third place finisher here tonight, the number 96, Aaron Dietrich, and that was a great race. I mean, overall, these guys did a fantastic job, and Dietrich should hang his head high, because that's a good recovery. I think the past few weeks, Aaron's had some rough weeks, so I think that's a good finish for him. Second place finisher here tonight, Peter Lanik, and another guy that's kind of had a drought. And here we are tonight on the podium, second place finisher. Woohoo! It broke that dry spell here tonight, Peter.
I did, and Hockenheimring and myself didn't really like each other until qualifying. I didn't really have a chance to practice other than Wednesday. Didn't do so good. It just should be a track that I like. It has a lot of flowy corners, but it also has a few really slow hairpins. And for some reason, me and hairpins, we just don't get along. So, but I figured it out and surprisingly qualified really well. And so I'm glad it was an uneventful night. I was hoping in that first race to just hang on to third. I think Aaron was nipping at my heels. He was about to pass me, which I was fine with because I was at 16 incidents and 17th was a black flag. And as he was passing me, I got a little bit offline and spun, and there was a black flag. So I ended up getting all the way to the end of the pack for the start of the next race, which was first position. So I guess it's all good, right?
I mean, it's all well ends well for some of that stuff. I mean, things happen for a reason. I'm a firm believer in controlling your own destiny, though. Do you think there was anything else? Like, this track seemed like there was some weird portions of really narrow and then really wide, really fast and then really technical.
Yeah, some very very slow hairpins at the end of the long straight parabolic. I think that's what it's called, and yeah, it just kind of disrupts the flow. You know, I love Barcelona and Spa and tracks that you have really long, flowy, technical corners. This one is just wouldn't be on my favorites list. Ended up doing okay, but it's a tough track to pass on as well. You really just have that parabolica to pass where you can get a lot of draft, but everywhere else it's kind of tight and the straights are relatively short. So it's somebody else has to make a mistake, or you really got to be on point to pass.
Yeah, trying to hold it down there, and then you have the opposite corner going the other way as soon as you get that move. Yeah, I saw it all night tonight, but it was you that put it up here in second position. You check out about 2.5 seconds over Dietrich, and I thought you were gonna chase down Rico there at the end.
I was closing in at the end. Maybe Darren was losing tires, which definitely happened to me in the first race, but just couldn't close. He had a great start. I think he passed 3 or 4 cars. So kudos to him. He knows how to time it right. And yeah, I was just looking at the battle behind me. Adam and Aaron was really closing, but it seems like Adam at some point made a mistake or had an incident, lost the positions to Aaron, and Aaron was kind of yo-yoing between 1.8 and 2.2 seconds behind me. So I just wanted to drive a consistent race and bring home the second.
Well, congratulations on that, and go ahead and shout him out if you got him.
Thanks, Bradley. Shout out to the league as always. Enjoy racing here, and let's go gas burn.
Well, there you have it. Peter Lanik, second place finisher here tonight in heat number 2, and going to carry that momentum into next week, I hope, and we might get to talk to you again on the next one.
That would be nice. Thanks, Bradley. Thanks for commentating.
Anytime. Lanik, second place finisher in the number 294, and that finally brings us to victory lane down here with Darren Treacle, and I'm going to make sure... There we go. Let's drag him down here. We have to stop celebrating for a second because we have to talk about that absolute annihilation. What did you do? Was that move on the start of this race on the outside where I could see you and then I couldn't, and then suddenly you were in the lead? What was that?
I got a special button on my wheel. I kind of go like invisible, you know?
David Blaine button? Is that
Yeah,
what
I
it
got
is?
like a David Blaine button. I go invisible and I just pop up in front of the car, the next car, you know?
It was some Chris Angel mind freak stuff. I was trying to keep the camera on you and you disappeared. So I put it on, I think it was the second or third place driver at the time, which was Ryan Kennedy. And you just like disappear. And the next thing I know, they go into turn 1, you're in the lead. It was crazy. How did you pull that off without getting into somebody?
You know, well, Scott, on the start said I was blinking, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. There's not a whole lot you can do. You just go, right, and hope you don't crash or screw up anybody's, race or whatever. But I got a little bit of a better jump than who was it? Carlos that was in front of me, I believe. And he left just enough track on the left side for me to make a move, and I had the momentum, so I figured, I'm going to go for it, and I was able to slip by him. Now, in Carlos's defense, he does drive very carefully, and he's not going to defend very hard or anything like that. So, so he didn't squeeze me over. He held his line. So, but yeah, no, I just caught it at the right time. Really, is what it came down to.
I mean, I'm trying to go back here and cycle back through. It was crazy. And as far as the eventfulness of this race, you kind of avoided most of that with that move, but there was guys beating on each other, battling for 4th, 5th, 6th position the whole time. I mean, you were probably part of that there. I saw you have a hard time in the first heat, but it looked like you were plenty fast to be up front.
Yeah, tonight my practice was the qualifying session, so I had to get up to speed fairly quickly, and then it doesn't hurt when you're behind some cars that you can kind of see where they're braking and so forth. But yeah, I mean, we got up. It was me, Dave, and Clint, and I was kind of hanging tight. Me and Clint battled a little bit, but I didn't want to battle too much because then that would let Dave slip away. So I was like, well, let's just kind of get the three of us if we can put some separation between the rest of the pack. And then I was like, well, I'll just kind of let Dave and Clint battle a little bit, and I'll stick my nose in here every once in a while. And then me and Dave came together, and I spun, and I got the worst end of it, and that was pretty much the end of my race.
Yeah,
So.
situationally, I mean, it looked like a little bit of netcode too, because it kind of just sent the car pretty hard, like he just doored you, but it was pretty minor contact in my opinion. But
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
weird. Like the car just spun.
Yeah,
You
it was
know,
a weird one.
It like me and Dave had some contact at the finish of the first lap, right? And we had a little contact. I went on the inside of him and I passed him, but then I gave the spot back to him. I was like, I'll give it back, And but I don't feel like the contact we had later in the race was really any worse than what we had on that first lap. But it spun me. Like the car just spun.
It took the nose completely off of it. So it was a weird one, but
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, Darren, you come home victorious in the second heat. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out while we got you up here?
Yeah, give a shout out to Treacle Insurance Agency and Haggerty Motorsports. Scott for setting this up, and was it Perry Duncan Designs, and gosh, my mind has
SEOMike.
SEOMike. I haven't done this in a while, so I can't. I got to keep my speech apparently right here on my monitor so I don't forget it. But yeah,
teleprompter. That's what.
I'm going to get me one of those teleprompters, right? And then you do a great job on the broadcast. So, and it's great that everybody shows up. And I missed last week. I was bummed because I was looking forward to Road Atlanta. This track isn't my best track, but I missed Road Atlanta. Those updates got me, so I was a little bummed about that because I didn't get to jump in until like last minute, and then it wanted to update every car and track, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I frantically tried to uncheck everything, and by the time I did, it was too late. But yeah, it ended up being a good race, and I look forward to it. I look forward to next week at VIR.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well, and we're coming up on a pretty tight season here. I'm gonna have to get the finalization on the points, and I've been kind of slacking on that, so I'm gonna get a graphic up for you guys and get that together. But outside of that, Darren Treacle, congratulations, buddy, and maybe we'll talk to you next week.
I hope so. Thanks, Brad.
Race winner, the number 70, Darren Treacle, and that concludes tonight's broadcast here for Hockenheimring. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I don't speak German, but I think I'm saying it right. So let's take you through that final finishing order and let you understand where the rest of these drivers fared. So the top three that we just talked to, Lanik, Dietrich, second and third. Treacle, your winner. Ryan Kennedy's going to come in fourth. Adam Hull going to round out the top five. Clint Fletcher, the winner in heat number one. He recovers back to sixth after that turn one, lap one spin, bringing that 69 up into the top 10. Congratulations to him as well. Dean Doolin going to bring seventh position. Colin Kortanik, rough one for him here tonight. 32 is going to finish eighth. Barry Duncan, ninth position with Scott Kim in the 7-Eleven, rounding out the top 10. 11th spot's going to belong to David Curtis. Carlos Bond in 12th. And a driver that did not make it out on the track here tonight. That's Joseph Barrett, I believe. Barrett? Barrett. Like I said, I butcher names for a living, so I'm going to have to get the correct pronunciation of that one. I'm going to say Barrett, because that's easier. But outside of that, thank you for your time here tonight. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button on V-Speed 2. And go check out V-Speed 1 and VSRN. Eddie Smith, excellent producer, does a great job. We do a lot of Google racing and one of these other two channels, so if you'd like to watch anything like that, it's in your wheelhouse. But for everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Alec Martinez, Connor Horn, and everyone in between, I'm Bradley Cooper, signing off and telling you to have a great weekend. We'll see you next time for NCC Sim Racing.